A neopixel controlled by a touch sensor. You've already wired a neopixel, and you know that pins are important. The neopixel will be on pin 2 and the input touch sensor on pin 1. The microbit knows what to do with that information as long as the pins are correct. Neopixel on pin 2. This is the same code as before. It says pin 2 is where the neopixel will be. This is new code. So let's break this down a little bit because there's some new blocks that you haven't used before. The microbit requires some logic for this. So go to the logic blocks and find this if true, then else block. So if you're touching the sensor, then do something. If not, else, not touching the sensor, do something else. So in this case, you need to then go to advanced pins and tell the microbit to read what's going on at one pin, the touch sensor, at pin 1. And when it's being touched, that means you need to write to the neopixel and tell the neopixel to do something. And the neopixel is at pin 2. So let's make sure this is right. Read pin 1, the touch sensor, and write to pin 2 where the neopixel is located. We need to go back to logic and find the logic comparison block. This will help the microbit to know what to do when. So we're going to say read the pin, and if it's being touched, we're going to call that 1, and then write to pin 2, the neopixel, and leave that at 0. Now we go to neopixel and say what we want the neopixel to do when the touch sensor has been touched. So in this case, I'm just going to say show a rainbow of colors. If the touch sensor is not being touched, that's else. Let's duplicate this block and tell the neopixel something else to do. So we're going to change 0 to 1 so it knows to do something else when the touch sensor is not being touched. So I'm just going to say show a clear strip, meaning there will be no colors when the touch sensor is not being touched. So there you have it. When you're touching it, make a rainbow. When you're else, if you're not touching it, it should be clear. Try this, make it work, and then do even more things and make it even better.